This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
In recent years, we're beginning to focus more on the soil moisture status and how these cover crops affect soil moisture. What we have going on behind us is they're installing neutron access tubes so we can measure the status of the soil moisture down to 9 or 10 feet and look at water extraction through the profile, and we'll continue that through the cover crop phase and up until we plant the sorghum. And the intent is to get a handle on what's going on with soil moisture when we insert cover crops into a no-till cropping system. Some hesitance arises in the use of cover crops relative to what's the impact on my next crop. Will it use too much soil moisture? Crop yields so far have indicated that it's in this area, in this part of the state, it's probably not an issue, but by installing these neutron access tubes, we can get a better handle on exactly what's going on with soil moisture below those cover crops and relative to, say, a fallow or a double crop soybean. Understand better if it's the effect we're seeing in either the sorghum phase, and sometimes we see effects even in the soybean and the wheat phase of the 3-year rotation. If it's due to nitrogen effects, nitrogen cycling and tie-up in the residues, uptake and sequestration in those residues and subsequent release, or if it's due to water dynamics. In a different study that would indicate some of these cover crops can extract water down to 10 feet deep, and those are the deep tap-rooted brassicas, radishes, and rapeseed, for instance. By the same token, with adequate rainfall over the winter and in the spring, we saw minimal to no effect on the next year's corn crop. In some of the research we've seen so far is that, yes, you extract more water during the summer growing season, but over the winter where you've had cover crops, you've got more residue, and we make up a lot of that during that winter and early spring season, especially going ahead of sorghum. And so the net result has so far been either neutral or positive, and long term we hope to build soil structure, soil organic matter, and all the other benefits that you achieve with cover crops.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.